You know, sometimes it can be hard to know what exactly is going wrong with your marriage or your relationship. Or you might be feeling like you're not really yourself, but you find it hard to put exactly why, and your partner and your spouse not really helping you out.
Maybe you're in an abusive relationship with someone who is gaslighting or isolating you. Those types of behaviors are not that common, but they do happen. And when they do, it's important to be aware of what is actually going on. So here to explain how to recognize the behaviors, Dr. Kirsten Lind Seal. Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Good. Let's start. I want to separate these two because they're both really important. Sometimes they can be together, but isolating. Talk about what that looks like.
So isolating is when in a relationship, when one person is saying to the other person, like sort of, it can often start sort of gently with little digs, like, I don't really love going over to your sister's, or do we have to have Thanksgiving with your mom again, or I don't want to go to the movies with your kids, you know, whatever it is, or I don't like these friends of yours. What can happen is eventually, because you're with this person is your partner, right? This person is your person, and you can start to sort of suddenly realize that you're not really spending time with other people in your life. So what that means is that the social supports that you previously had are kind of falling away.
What about gaslighting?
Yeah, so gaslighting, you know, gaslighting is a term that comes from this 40s movie about a man who married a rich woman and tried to make her think she was crazy so he could put her in an insane asylum at the time and then inherit all her money. And how he did this was by either making the gas lights in the house brighter or dimmer, and she would say, they're brighter, and he would say, no, they're not, right? So right there, so that is the crux of gaslighting. It's not just lying. Lying, okay, like some lies are okay, like, do these pants make me look fat, right? You might be like, no, you look great. But gaslighting has a particularly malevolent tone to it, meaning that you are actually really trying, this person is trying to make you believe that your reality is not actually reality.
Give us an example of that may be something you've seen in your practice.
Yeah, so, well, here's something that I see a lot, which not a lot, but when I see gaslighting, what happens is that one person will sort of get upset, you know, get into an argument with their partner, and the other person will just completely dismiss it, and not only dismiss it, sort of give all these reasons why that is a completely unimportant and sort of useless thing to worry about. And then it also can really show up when people complain about their spouse, right? Like you're like, you know, I wish you wouldn't do da da da. I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're exaggerating. Are you sure you're not imagining things?
Well, what do you do? What do you do in situations like that? How do you handle it?
Yeah. So well, what I will do is I will say, here's what I'm hearing and here's what I'm seeing. You know, I'll be like, my experience of you is that you're actually really making sense here. Can you see that there might be another way of looking at things here? Or do you know, I see two different versions of reality, which actually, to be fair, in any couple, we each have our own versions of reality. But the important piece is that each person acknowledges that. We may disagree, but if we say, yes, we understand that your reality may be yours, instead of saying, no, my reality is the only reality.
And not giving any validation, essentially.
That's exactly right. And the thing about gaslighting, it actually can happen at like a lot of different levels, right? Like it happened in business. You know, no, that car is fine. When I sold it to you, it was la la la. It can happen in politics. It can happen societally, right? Like these things happen. But of course, what we're talking about here is the relationship piece. And the important part is if you are starting to feel like a little sense of unreality, because that's what happens. People start, like people sometimes will say to me, am I, like, is this
Am I crazy?
Am I crazy?
Am I crazy?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Am I crazy? Right? And so when you start, then that's when you need to listen to your family and friends, and listen to what they're telling you. And also, if you're hearing from your family and friends, we haven't seen you in a really long time. We're wondering how you are. We have some concerns about your relationship. Try not to get defensive. Try to really listen to what they're telling you, because it is really important to be able to sort of hang on to our own realities, right? So
sense of self, essentially.
Sense of self, exactly. And if it's really bad, reaching out for professional help.
When do you know when it's really bad?
Yeah, so I would say when you feel like no matter what you do in the relationship, you can't do anything right, and you can't ever get to a place where the two of you agree on something that's happened. I mean, that's when I see really bad cases of it, that's what it is there's literally this ongoing disagreement about the reality of any given situation.
I love this final note you have. People who love you won't separate you from other friends and family or try to control you by making you think that you are crazy.
Yes, that's exactly right. If you start thinking, am I crazy? that is a real warning sign.
Warning bells, sirens need to be going off
yeah,
something.
exactly. Wee, wee, wee.
There you go.
Kirsten, thank you.